Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. Today, where I am, it is the middle of February 2022, the 16th in fact, and I find myself in good spirits indeed because earlier in the day, my time, a few hours ago, I heard that the Criterion Collection made an announcement on its website with respect to those titles that the Criterion Collection plans to release in the month of May in the year 2022. So if you are interested in what that offering is, I strongly encourage you to check out the website directly, the Criterion website directly. And when you do, or if and when you do, you can see, for instance, the titles themselves, a brief write-up on each of the titles, as well as descriptions as to technical specifications, special features, planned cover art designs, etc., etc. It's a real wealth of information, a wonderful wealth of information indeed. So if you haven't already, I strongly encourage you to check out the Criterion Collection website directly for more information on the May releases, as well as other releases, both planned and also current. In the meantime, however, if it's okay with you, I'd very much like to take this opportunity just to share with you a few thoughts and comments that I have regarding this selection of planned release titles for May 2022. And there are, I count them, let's see, 5 of them. And we do have some interesting format-related comments that I think one can make regarding the 4K UHD format, etc. But if it's okay with you, let us go through each of these and see what our comments are, our initial impressions are. And as always with videos like this, I should point out that my comments and thoughts are as the moment, currently, and this may change when the actual item arrives in the mail in May or so, and when I have a chance to examine and explore and discover a lot of the things that are within these particular releases. So my thoughts and comments are as they are today, but they may change going forward. But if that's okay with you, let us now look at these titles according to the website and see what our reactions are to them. So first in this collection of titles that is announced this occasion, first up is scheduled for release May 10th, 2022, and this is for Spy Number 1123. And the filmmaker is Joseph Losey, and it looks like the format is 1-disc Blu-ray. I don't see any other formats indicated. The film in question, of course, is in English here. It's indicated as Mr. Klein. I understand it could also be known under its French language title of Monsieur Klein. Please pardon me for my poor pronunciation of the French language. So Mr. Klein or Monsieur Klein is the first title up here. Wow, what a really great announcement. To start off this bunch of great announcements, I should say. So we have a Joseph Losey work, in the Criterion Collection physical media catalog. So that's something to keep in mind and celebrate, that's for sure. And hopefully there might be more to come. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Another thing, too, is this work, Monsieur Klein, starring Alain Delon and others. This is a compelling, very nuanced, and quite deep work. And I had the great pleasure and honor of being able to engage with the work many years ago in the VHS days. I was never able to, say, purchase a copy of it on my own later on, so I don't have any good sense of the release history, but I did watch the film in the VHS days. There was a period in particular when I was younger, when I was really into trying to watch as many works by Joseph Losey as possible, including this particular work, Monsieur Klein. So to hear this news is a really great piece of news indeed regarding a work that is so powerful and chilling and quite, how should I put it? I think the word that has been often used is Kafkaesque, in reference to a type of feeling that could be said to be related to or similar to that of the works of Franz Kafka, as well as touching upon it in a very vivid and quite poignant and also as I say, deep and chilling way, points of history and points of history that are regarding World War II, that are relevant to the Holocaust, and also that are quite powerfully portrayed. And also there is a sense of the resonance of history and also the sweep of history, as well as the mysteries that are aligned or associated with those histories. And that when I use the word history, I'm also trying to give it a broad meaning in terms of the grand sweep of history on the one hand, and then also the intimate portrait on the other. And those of you who know the film will, I'm sure, you have already recognized how this film is dealing with a type of personal history, a type of mystery, a type of quality of the unknown that is also touching upon not just the tragic, but also the horrifying and chilling. And it is this type of flow or type of mystery that could also be said to be, in a literal sense, or literary sense, excuse me, kind of Kafkaesque journey or nightmare, as well as providing the touchstones of historical resonance that I think are also very, very key to an engagement with this film. So that and so much more is on offer. And I have a very poor way of being able to describe it. I apologize. I know that the supplements that are on offer, as well as other materials that one can find on this work, Monsieur Klein, and other works by Losey, I know will express it much better than I. But I do hope that when this arrives, this will provide a great opportunity for me to further explore this work. What a powerful work this is, Monsieur Klein, or Mr. Klein. I'm so excited for this. It says here, new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack, as well as a number of supplements there as well. And I should also encourage you, please check out the artwork that is on display on the website. New cover by Gary Kelly, according to the website. The cover art looks fantastic. Really, really fantastic. And there's a sense of unease and paranoia that is embedded within this really compelling work. And I think it's a wonderful reflection of the cinematic work overall. So well done, Criterion, for this. I'm so looking forward to this work. I should point out too, I referred to it earlier, it does indicate a Blu-ray disc only. I don't see any other format options available for this particular title, so just keep that in mind. The Blu-ray disc offering for this title, scheduled for release May 10th, spine number 1123. This is the work Mr. Klein, or Monsieur Klein. Next, scheduled for release on May 17th, 2022, and this is for spine number 1125, and the filmmaker is Juzo Itami, and this is from 1984, and this is the work which is known in English as The Funeral. So we have another work, another Itami Juzo, or Juzo Itami work, coming into the physical media catalog of the Criterion Collection. And what a work this is. This is considered, I think, with strong reason, to be one of the key works of Juzo Itami. It is also considered to be one of the key works of Japanese cinema of not just the 1980s, but I dare say, contemporary Japanese cinema, or late 20th century Japanese cinema, and for good reason. It is a really, it is so many things at once. It is a type of family drama. It is this type of kind of wicked, uh, dark comedy. It has these reflections of Japan and its past and present and society embedded into it, as well as encompassing those great hallmarks of the Juzo Itami style and structure, in a sense of a type of in-your-face formalism that is also providing a real deep-rooted and long-lasting sense of entertainment all around. This is one of the key works. This is one of my favorite works by Itami, and I I'm so thrilled that the Criterion Collection is releasing this. Wow, wow! The Criterion Collection is releasing The Funeral. That is really amazing. Itami's The Funeral. That is really, really amazing. Wow. Wow. I should say too that the cover art looks really cool. Really, really cool indeed. I love the blend of colors and the way in which we have rich type of ritual and gathering, social gathering upon this occasion. It's so well expressed here, and the use of font and the characters, well done. And I also note that there is a number of there are a number of supplements, new interviews as well are indicated, so this is really great. Commercials as well, Itami Juzo commercials, Ichiro Tart. So this is this is very good indeed for anyone who doesn't know. The commercials, or as they are called in Japanese, CM. There is also a great wealth of Itami related materials when it comes to television commercials, and so this is great that this is included as well. So wow, wow, wow. I cannot I'm so happy for this. I'm really, really happy for this. May 17th, it is around the time of my birthday, actually. I have a May birthday. It's around the middle of May. And so it's not the 17th, but it's near that date. So this in fact, it's a little bit after. So maybe because of the time difference, this title might arrive around the time of my birthday. So if that's the case, then this is a really lovely birthday present indeed. I'm so thrilled about this. And I haven't spoken about any Itami films on this channel. Again, my own shortcoming, my great weakness. I have many of them. And one of those weaknesses is my lack of discussion for a number of filmmakers, including Juzo Itami. But this will hopefully provide me and provide us with the opportunity to talk and share and to exchange ideas and perspectives. This is a great one to do that for. Really, it is. Really, really is. There's so much going on in terms of the layering, both micro and macro, and it is so entertaining. It's so funny. So anyway, here is the work. It's known in English as The Funeral. This is Juzo Itami's work, The Funeral, scheduled for release on May 17th, and for spine number 1125. Next, scheduled for release May 24th, 2022, and this is for spy number 1127 and 1991. This is the work from the great filmmaker Mira Nair, and this is the work which is called Mississippi Masala. Mississippi Masala is coming to the Criterion Collection physical media lineup. This is great. This came out in the early 1990s, right? At 91, yes. And so this was a film that when it came out, I remember I didn't catch up with it in the theatrical release or anything like that. I caught up with it a little bit later during my university school life. And it was it was quite a popular film to talk about, as I recall at the time. And people were so enchanted by the story, by the way in which certain very, I think, relatable and understandable human situations were being portrayed in this really gripping and thought-provoking, as well as very emotional and engaging way from Mira Nair and company. So this is so wonderful. It brings back so many memories for me, just hearing this particular announcement and just remembering the types of discussions that we were having in terms of this and other works of a similar type of character. This has such a rich and lovely, warm character to it that is also very direct and is also very honest, and is also doing it in a way that is very approachable and very relatable and very warm. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy about this. This is so far there are so many titles that have been released, including for May, and Mississippi Masala is one of those titles where it's just reminding me of something that I've seen many years ago, but maybe I haven't had a chance to watch recently. And so, but it's now making me recall all these memories that I had. So I'm very excited. There are a number of new features. The features section indicates the word new in a lot of places, included in which is what's described as a new audio commentary featuring Mir Nair. So wow indeed. That cover art looks fantastic. And just overall, this is something to feel good about. I cannot wait. Again, that's another terrible weakness of mine, is that I've not spoken on this channel at all about the works of Mir Nair, but I hope that, well, I truly hope that this will provide an opportunity to remedy that terrible oversight on my part. Because, again, this is a film that really filled me and filled my close circle of friends with a lot of excitement back in the day. And so I just haven't had a chance to re-examine it that much in recent years. But this will be a great opportunity to do so. Well done, Criterion, for being able to do this. I'm so thrilled. This is Mir Nair's work from 1991, scheduled for release May 24th, spine number 1127, Mississippi Masala. I should say that there is the Blu-ray disc offering and also the DVD disc offering. So this title is being offered on a Blu-ray single disc or a DVD single disc, just in case you're interested. I should point out too, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention regarding the previous title, the Juzo Itami work, The Funeral. Also, in terms of format offerings, the Criterion Collection is offering a one-disc Blu-ray for The Funeral or a one-disc DVD for The Funeral. So that's interesting in and of itself. Also, I should point out too that Mississippi Masala here, it's indicating a new 4K digital restoration, so supervised by director Mir Nair and director of photography Ed Lachman. So I don't know this particular restoration itself, so it'll be interesting to examine it. I admit I'm going to have to try to rely on my memory, which is very faint indeed, and getting fainter by each passing minute, I must say, as I grow older. But I will do my best to rely on those memories when I watch this particular restoration. I don't think, incidentally, I'm sorry I didn't mention it for the funeral. I apologize, but let me just take the opportunity now. For the funeral, it indicates high definition restoration. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. That could be most likely something of materials that have already been released or have already been made available. But in any event, I do have, I might be able to do some comparative analysis on that to the extent I'm able to with regard to the funeral. But also, we will see how that affects us going forward when we explore Mississippi Masala. So once again, Mississippi Masala, scheduled for release May 24th, 2022. Next, scheduled for release May 31st, 2022, and this is for spine number 1124. The film is described as being from 1982. The filmmaker is Wayne Wang, and the film is Chan is Missing. I am so I am over the moon by this. I admit that I don't usually have my finger on the pulse of, say, rumors or maybe I don't know exactly what's being planned. I don't have that ability to keep up with all the recent rumor news and the like. So if this was a rumor or if this was something that was known, it certainly wasn't by me. I had no idea about this. So this is completely completely taking me by surprise. And when I say that, I want to really emphasize just how 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 much this film meant to me growing up. I should take a step back here. So Wayne Wang, it, I had this particular journey of my own cinema journey, and I was born in '79 and into the '80s and then into the '90s when I was a teenager, a high school student, and then entering into college. This was around the time when I was slowly beginning to try to explore what I considered at the time to be films outside of my bubble. And part of that journey involved trying to discover what was at the time a really big deal, which was known as, it was being referred to as independent cinema. And it was basically a type of mainstreaming of what otherwise could be called as independent or art house cinema, and mainstreaming in terms of marketing it and also making it available for wider audiences on a sort of a larger distribution scale. And so that's where you had these independent filmmakers emerge. One of those independent filmmakers for me that I discovered was Wayne Wang. And I first began to hear about Wayne Wang's name in the context of films like, say, Smoke, Blue in the Face, and then also there was also this really kind of high-profile release of a film which was called The Joy Luck Club, and also and other films in the 1990s, and so by Wayne Wang, and so this name appeared. And as I was trying to explore who this person was, I also read about this film called Chan is Missing. And all throughout my say high school days, I was never able to find a copy of Chan is Missing. So I was always reading about it and just wondering what this was, but never had a chance to. And then, lo and behold, one day I entered into university. And then during those years, I was finally able to get my hands on a copy of a VHS tape of Chan is Missing. And I watched that, and I was really, I wasn't sure how to process it at first. It was a type of, it felt like a really fun story that was also a type of mystery, that was also a sense of a feeling of space and time, as well as a type of expression of these particular characters, both in terms of their intimate story and their intimate experiences, also their experiences within a type of community context. And so, but I watched it a number of times, and I began to be so mesmerized by the work, and it just grew and grew and grew on me. And I think it affected me so much so, I think more so than I had perhaps realized at the time. Now that I think about it, I'm thinking now, after many years, I'm thinking back on those moments of discovering this film and watching it a number of times on that VHS tape and just being mesmerized by it, really, really mesmerized by it. It has this sense of flow that is very refreshing and surprising, and it has a voice that is very poignant and very direct. And there's an earnestness that I really love too about this work, Chan is Missing. And so there's a lot there. Incidentally, I think it's a really interesting selection of films this month, May, when you think about Chan is Missing, and also if you think about another film that was announced, I spoke about a few moments ago, which is the Losi work, Monsieur Klein. I think in an interesting way, there might be an interesting type of double feature in terms of, I know they're different on many respects, but there are also some similarities that could be said. But in any event, returning to this film, Chan is Missing, I'm trying to emphasize here just how taken I was and am by this work. I want to say that again. Wayne Wang's work, Chan is Missing, is one of the films that really swept me off my feet. It really did. And again, I'm stunned because I can't stop it. But now these memories are now flooding back into my own mind about those times and my experience. And I haven't thought about those feelings in a long time, to be perfectly honest. But now I'm beginning to feel them. They're re-emerging. So I am just, I don't know. It's going to be, I think, maybe it'll be interesting to see when this film arrives and how I further react to it. But I just want to just say right now that this is a film that was so important, one of the great discoveries, I think, of my young cinema journey life, I think. And now that it's here in the Criterion collection, wow, this is a film, a feature film by Wayne Wang in the Criterion Collection Physical Media Catalog. And Chan is missing, no less. Wow. All right. So I cannot wait to talk about this one. I don't know. Again, I won't promise that my comments will be anything groundbreaking or anything. They won't be at all. And again, I will fail so miserably when trying to talk about this. But I will endeavor to speak my mind and my heart about this, because it is a film that really touched me. Really did. Wow. Chan is Missing is in the Criterion Collection. Wow. I should point out, too, that our dear friend, Sister Hyde is mentioned as the artist for this particular artwork. I looked at it. This is so amazing. Such a cool artwork. So well done, Sister Hyde. Congratulations. Your work is just growing and growing and growing exponentially. So well done. Well done. Also, I should point out that this is the offering here is a Blu-ray disc, single disc offering. There doesn't seem to be any other format offering available according to the website, but that's okay. That's okay. Blu-ray disc, again, for this film, scheduled for release May 31st for spine number 1124, and this is the work by Wayne Wang. The film is Chan is Missing. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have a title scheduled for release May 31st, 2022. And this is the film from 1944. It's scheduled for spine number 1126. And the filmmaker is Billy Wilder. The name of the work is Double Indemnity. And I should point out that the format offerings here indicate either a 2-disc Blu-ray release or, alternatively, a 3-disc 4K UHD plus Blu-ray combo. So you have the choice of one of those two format offerings. And in terms of the film itself, we have new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack. And for the 4K UHD disc of the film, it's presented in Dolby Vision HDR. And we have the 2 Blu-rays offerings, which has the film on the Blu-ray and also special features. Double Indemnity is in the Criterion Collection, or it will be in the Criterion Collection. I'm going to say that again. I don't know if I can fully wrap my head around that. Let me just let it sink in one more time. Double Indemnity is going to be in the Criterion Collection. 4K UHD, no less. This is, I think, this is going to be considered to be a big one. I think for good reason. And already I'm getting a sense that a lot of people are talking about this one right now. And again, for good reason. It's not like this film hasn't ever been released by any label at all. I mean, it's been released on a number of occasions. I think really fine releases. I have the great honor of having a couple of them, in fact. It's a really great film. And but there's just something to be said about Criterion and Billy Wilder and Double Indemnity. There's just some kind of, just something magical about that, isn't there not? I think it feels magical. So wonderful news. I'm very much looking forward to this. I don't know anything about this 4K restoration of Double Indemnity, so we shall wait and see what that has to offer. I should point out too that I do know that 4K UHD doesn't have to be for everyone, and I want to really emphasize that you don't have to watch this film in any specific format. It's not there's no hard and fast rule that dictates that you have to do so. So for those of you who are maybe not interested in the 4K UHD format, that is completely okay, my friends. Do not worry about it at all. But I should say that from my own personal experience, 4K UHD format in the hands of Criterion has, I would say for the most part, been really, really stellar. I mean, there's been maybe a kind of hiccup here and there, and I will talk about one of the recent releases by Criterion under that format that took place about a few weeks ago, in fact. I'll try to do that in a separate video. But be that as it may, I think overall it's been a very strong selection of Criterion and its efforts using this new format, this new frontier, as it were. And so if that's the case, then we have the possibility of watching Double Indemnity in this new format in the hands of Criterion, and also the special features to boot. Not to mention the film itself, of course. The film is one of these. It's one of these. It crackles. It just seems to. I know the cliche is it jumps off the screen, or just it's filled with electricity or something like that. But there is a real sense of electricity. The voltage levels are through the roof when it comes to this. And I'm talking about the voltage levels on a number of facets. First, we have the voltage of the great kind of chemistry, on-screen chemistry between and among our main principals here. Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. Of course, we have this main couple, this on-screen, essentially power couple, around which and involving which all the key events of this film take place. And you throw into the puzzle, or the various puzzles, you throw into it a lot of wrenches, really, and it's just the suspense is just it's builds and builds and builds. And you have also the entrance or the introduction of the Edward G. Robinson character, and you have the makings of something that is so, as I say, the voltage is through the roof. And I'm talking also about not just the suspense levels, not just the film noir levels, not just the levels of real, say, a classical Hollywood cinema class and style and energy, and the Billy Wilder sense of real command of craft, but also the feeling, the emotions, the tensions, the jealousies, the passions, the real earthy and raw passions that are all on display here. They just, as I say, they don't just come off the screen. They burst forth. They explode. It's as I say, the voltage is through the roof, utterly through the roof. And so when I saw this film as a kid for the first time on, as I say, again, VHS, there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't quite aware of. I wasn't privy to this type of language or lingo. At the time, I wasn't sure exactly what the word indemnity meant, let alone double indemnity. Even now I think about it, it's quite I would say for me, it's quite a complex concept. So, but with all that notwithstanding, there was still the real raw, unnerving, edgy story that was at the center, and it then expanded my horizons in terms of me wanting to, as I watched the film at a fairly young age, and from there, at the time I didn't know who James M. Cain was, so it made me want to read more James M. Cain works, and so that started me on that journey. And then as well, watching more Billy Wilder movies that were available, that started me on that journey as well, and the like. And so it became this ever exponential thing that happened. And I was, as I say, I was so fortunate during that period of my life, again, early on, to have been able to discover a number of gems of cinema, one of which was Double Indemnity. So now we have it coming to the Criterion Collection. Now it's been readily available, I know, and so it's been a film that is a really stellar film. Has been a film that I think has gotten a lot of love and appreciation, deservedly so, over the years. But now here is yet another occasion, another possibility, another reason to fall in love with it yet again. So Double Indemnity is coming to the Criterion Collection, 4K UHD. Let us hope that for those of us who are keen on the 4K UHD format, let us hope that it is a good presentation. Chances are it will be, but of course we can check it out when it arrives. And for those of you who are okay with not necessarily relying on the 4K UHD format, that is completely okay, because as we say here, it looks like we also have the possibility of the alternative format options of the Blu-ray 2-disc set. So whatever works for you, I hope you find the great option that fits for your own particular cinema journey. But once again, my dear friends, Double Indemnity is coming to the Criterion Collection. Scheduled for release May 31st for spine number 1126. So, my dear friends, that is it, I think, as far as the titles are concerned for May. I should point out that, again, we also find that Criterion is still endeavoring along the so-called 4K UHD track, although not for all of its titles, but still it's nice to see that continuing along. But again, for those who are not necessarily keen on the format or don't necessarily need to rely on the format, there are still the Blu-ray options available to you for that particular title, Double Indemnity. And again, once again, let me circle that, emphasize it. If I had a highlighter, I would highlight it many colors. That is so cool. Double Indemnity is coming to the Criterion Collection. That is so cool. Wow. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, another thing to keep in mind, too, is that we have so many other offerings on display or on offer, excuse me, here for the month of May. And it is a very, very strong month, in my view. A very strong month. We have the reemergence of a work by Mira Nair, and a really powerful and important one at that, which is Miss Masala. So well done, Criterion, for being able to do that. Not to mention also the reemergence of another filmmaker in the Criterion Collection, Itami Juzo, or Juzo Itami, with The Funeral. So well done for being able to do that. And we have the emergence of Joseph Losey in the physical media catalog in this work, Monsieur Klein. So wow. And then we have the emergence of Wayne Wang in the physical media catalog in terms of his feature film work, and that is Chan is Missing. Wow. And I mentioned it earlier, but I'll say it again. I think in particular with these titles, there's something about, they seem to be falling in that each of them, that's interesting, each of them really is falling into that zone of films that at some point early on in my life I was able to catch up with. And so now with each of them, I'm looking at them now on the computer screen in front of me, all these memories are flooding back in terms of how I felt when I first approached them. And I wonder if I'll feel the same when I watch them again when they arrive in May. I might feel the same, I might feel differently, who knows, but I'll do my best to articulate those thoughts, as confused and as muddled as they may be, and as they indeed are. I'll do my best to try to articulate those particular feelings. In any case, each of these films is engendering quite a deal of feeling within me, and so I'm very, very impressed indeed. May, yes, it's birthday month for me, and so this is a really lovely way to be able to celebrate it in terms of watching movies. So well done indeed. Maybe I should say too that there doesn't seem to be any box set offering at the moment, or collector's set offering at the moment. Will there be a collector's set offering? I don't know. Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. And maybe for some, maybe the fact that there doesn't seem to be, at least for now, any release announcement regarding a box set for 2022, maybe that's cause for concern, at least to a certain degree. And if you feel that way, I can completely sympathize with that particular position. I too am a big fan of box sets and collector sets, and I think Criterion does them really, really well. And the fact that there hasn't been any kind of announcement yet makes me stop and wonder, will something emerge? I'd like to think that there will be, based on past say, experience, and also how Criterion has done things in the past. I don't think the Criterion would stop doing anything in terms of not releasing. I don't think they would stop making box sets. I know that I'd like to believe that they will continue with box sets. So we'll see what happens. Let us keep our radars wide open when it comes to any news of any box sets if it does arrive. If I do hear anything, I will certainly try to come to this channel again and share with you some thoughts and comments I might have about that. But in the meantime, my friends, I don't think there is any cause to lament. On the contrary, if we can rely on what we have in terms of planned releases for these months of 2022 up to May, I think we are in really fine shape indeed. Not only fine shape, but really excellent, exciting, and mind-blowing shape. I am really overwhelmed indeed. So, my dear friends, that is my very muddled way of expressing how I feel about these May releases. But how do you feel? Please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I would love to hear what it is you have to say. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time, my dear friends. I very much appreciate it. I know everyone is busy, so thank you so much for stopping by. And so until we meet again, thank you and cheers.